Today's workout is all about high intensity interval training using your suspension training system. We're using the Bow500 suspension gym, however the workout is compatible with TRX or alternative suspension equipment as well. Let's get started with your warm-up exercise. Exercise 1 of the superset is a chest press. You can see I'm holding a nice straight core line when I'm dropping into the chest presses. And then it's a push perpendicular to the body. Now you can see as I drop down, I'm creating a straight line from elbow to elbow, and I'm pushing with steady, controlled motion. Exercise 2 is marching on the spot. So just making sure that we're light on the ball of the foot and just really lifting those knees, getting the blood flowing, and just starting to get the heart rate up a little bit with this exercise. Your turn to try the superset. The first exercise in this superset is a biceps curl, but you can see I'm doing it from the invisible chair. So I'm giving myself a nice heavy base, which makes your biceps curls harder. I'm also making sure that I'm keeping my elbows in front of me. So you want to make sure there's no movement in the elbows because we're not working some rows, we're working some curls. So the power needs to come from the biceps. A minimum 90 degrees angle change in those elbows. So in other words, good range of movement and nice slow negative return. For the cardio component, we're going to work some sprint starts. So you can see I work my way back as though I'm about to start a sprint, and then it's a matter of just jumping off the blocks and getting a couple of steps in, and then working your way back to your originating position. Your turn to try this superset. Exercise 1 of this superset is an under press. So you can see it's like a chest press with a supinated hand position. Elbows are tucked in and I'm creating a perpendicular push. Now this is going to put a little bit extra pressure in the middle of your chest and also a little bit more in your lateral triceps as well. Make sure that you're holding a nice straight core line, so no dipping of the back and good range, full movement for this exercise. Exercise 2 is some high pace squats. So starting with your feet parallel at shoulder width, we're dropping down into some nice deep squats and working our way up. You can see I'm using my arms for momentum, so you're also welcome to do that. And let's keep up the pace for the duration of the set. Your turn to try it. Exercise 1 for the superset is some bent over tricep extensions. So this is a little bit tricky because as you're folding forward, you're shifting the weight to your heels, but you're making sure that you're keeping your spine neutral so that you're getting that stretch in the hamstring and we're not putting any unnecessary pressure on the lower spine. Elbows are trying to stay tucked in and they're trying to stay glued to your ribs. So we want to minimize any movement in your elbows. Now you can see that my wrists are not snapping either. We're trying to keep the wrists nice and straight. As you fold forward, I want you to really squeeze with your triceps, push your hands back and come up into your standing position. For the cardio exercise, we're going to get into 4 points position and work some fast feet from here. Now these are a lot harder than doing fast feet standing up. Part of your weight's going to be on your arms and part of it on your feet. Now the more weight you can place on your hands, the faster your fast feet will be for this particular exercise. Where people tend to go wrong is they shift their hips up and it moves their knee too far away from the floor. So I want you guys to watch for that. Let's have a go at this superset. starting this superset with some reverse flies. So start with your arms extended and a straight plank line body, and then it's a matter of opening your arms up until you're in that crucifix position, and then try to release nice and slow. Now, the negative is just as important as the exercise itself. So we don't want a sudden release. We want to make sure it's nice and controlled. When you release and go back into your starting position, make sure that you don't drop your bum out. You want to make sure you keep your back engaged and keep that straight body line throughout. For the cardio component, we're going to work some X mountain climbers. So these are similar to traditional mountain climbers, except your knee is pushing to the outside of your opposite elbow, and so we are creating more work on the obliques and in the intercostals as well. Let's keep a good pace with this particular exercise, and let's have a go at this superset now. For the first exercise of this superset, using straight knees and the ball of your foot, we're going to fold over into some shoulder presses. So dropping down with your head until you've got that nice 90-degree bend in your elbows, and then pushing until you're all the way back up. Now we want to try and make sure we keep the knees straight for this exercise to really emphasize the shoulders. You'll get a good stretch of the hamstrings during this exercise as well. For the second exercise, we're going to go into some in and out squats. Staying nice and light on the ball of the foot and keeping your knees bent the whole time, we're going to jump in and out and really try to sustain our height as much as possible. Your turn to try this superset. Exercise 1 of this superset is a traditional row, but you can see I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm doing it with bent knees as though I'm sitting on a chair. And what this does is it amplifies the exercise because of the additional weight having the lower center of gravity. Now make sure you extend your arms all the way out, and as you pull in, keep your elbows tucked in by your ribs, and nice controlled movement, both in the way in and as well as the release as well. For the cardio exercise, we're going to work some double jabs. So we want to double jab using your natural fighting stance, and then we're going to change over and do the opposite as well. It's a matter of alternating those double jabs from one side to the other. This exercise is all about foot movement, so I want you guys to keep your feet moving. Your turn to try this superset. Exercise 1 is a suspended front delts raise for this exercise. So looking at your anchor, keeping that straight body line, we're going to push the arms up soft straight until you've hit a straight line from your ankle all the way to your hand. So really engaging the shoulders, the traps and the rhomboids. This is a really good upper back exercise. You can see my release is nice and steady as well. So that's equally as important as the exercise itself. For exercise 2 in this superset, we're going to work some squats and throw some knee strikes down the middle as well. So you can see I'm squatting with my feet parallel at shoulder width, getting nice and deep into those, and then throwing a knee strike down the middle. Now, I'm alternating those knee strikes from the left to the right. Let's keep the pace up throughout the set. Your turn to try it.
On a road to wherever I want, and you see I go with the wind, the places I've been, I keep them within, holding on to a feeling so strong.
Triceps overhead extension for the first exercise in this superset. You can see I'm starting from an abs rollout and then allowing my elbows to bend until my hand is by the side of my head or even the back of the head, And then extending the elbow until the arm is nice and straight again. Really focusing on not allowing the elbow to move in and out. So you want to try and keep it as static as you can throughout your set. Now make sure you also keep your core line as well in order to protect your back. For the second exercise, for the cardio component, we're going to work some scissor hops. So just hopping and alternating back and forth with your left foot and your right foot, and just trying to keep the weight on the ball of your foot and staying nice and light on your toes. Your turn to try this superset.
She's a roller coaster. Oh, she's a flame. I'm burning up inside, but I can feel no pain. I won't try to stop her. She can't be tamed. I'm so in love with her. I fall and try again. Get up and try again. Get up and try again. Get up and try again. She's a roller coaster. Oh, she's a flame. I'm burning up inside, but I can feel no pain. I won't try to stop her. She can't be tamed. I'm so in love with her. I fall and try again. Get up and try again. Get up and try again. Get up and try again. She's a roller coaster. Oh, she's a flame. I'm burning up inside, but I can feel no pain. I won't try to stop her. She can't be tamed. I'm so in love with her. I fall and try again. Get up and try. Get up and try again. Get up and try again. Get up and try again. Love the way we are together. I think we always stay this way. And how I wanna build my whole world with you in my era. And now I will make us so much better. And there will be no more lonely nights. Baby, if you let me try, I give you what you want. Girl, I'll take it when you go blind. You say that I'm just wasting my time. You say I'm too hard to handle.
Well done for getting through your workout today, guys. Let's take a moment to stretch and cool our body back down now. Comment and let us know what you thought of today's workout, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest workouts.